Welcome.
Amazing.
Have returned. Ned and Ricardo ride again.
We're back, baby. Nothing keeps
back.
us away. We don't stop.
Never. Nothing happened. Not even the impending World War III will keep us away from talking toys.
No, we're still bringing
stop
top
us.
toy content.
That's what we like to do here on Figured Not Included. Welcome to a brand new episode of Figured Not Included. I am Mikey. Of course, with me is Ed from Hidden Temple Toys.
That's me.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, Michael.
How are you, friend?
Good. I'm good. I'm glad to be back. Sorry I had a miss last week, but here we are doing what we do. So very excited to talk toys with you again.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been
a little bit. We had a
minute.
little hiccups, a couple little here's and there's, but you know,
here's and there's and everywheres. But
so is life, as they say. You know.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can't celebrate life without celebrating toys, which is what we do, which is what we like to do. Because otherwise, why live if we can't?
I know.
Have
no point. No toys, no life.
I got the tattooed on my lower back, actually.
So. I know. That's where I read it. I remember.
You read it? You saw my photos on
why? Yeah,
on
you had
OnlyFans.
Party. You had drunken too much, and everything was coming out.
Toy from my back.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know Mikey had a tattoo. Oh, okay, I like it.
Oh, yeah, it's like all like in cursive handwriting, and it's really, really elegant. Really. Right on the
is high quality, artwork you got there.
Talk about content, So a lot of content on that lower back of mine.
That's lot weird. Of stuff. I mean, you keep reading and just keep going lower and lower, and you're just like, I don't know if I want to keep going.
Like a scroll, You just going top
to
bottom.
It's like you got the Star Wars scroll just going down your back.
That's a really good tattoo idea. I think it's getting like a Star Wars scroll of like every single movie. That'd be awesome. I'm sure someone has that. I mean, that would be.
Yeah. I would like to see it.
I buy that.
Anybody knows?
Send us your pictures of your worst nerd tattoos.
Not too low though.
Not too low though, but because that would have to go on our other site. So
on Mikey's OnlyFans.
I don't have an OnlyFans.
You do.
I don't identify as a woman.
It says it's just under Mike Honcho.
Dirty. It's wrong. This is not the way to start a show. We are gentlemen. We are men.
Learned doctors.
Learned doctors.
Okay.
I think we quote Step Brothers the most out of any movie. At least I do.
There's so many good lines. I mean,
good lines.
Fantastic. It's funny too because as we're getting older, a lot of people like Maddox at the shop. He's never watched any of those movies, so I'm always quoting him, and it just goes right over his head. And I'm like, come on, man, come on, watch the movie.
I think it needs to be like a prerequisite.
I know, right?
Friends, like you have to watch a thing. Yeah, you have to get the references.
You're gonna have. Yeah, I'm gonna make like a checklist of movies and references, and if you can't check out all of them, you're out.
Yeah, like right now, I look kind of like Dale or something with my hair. I look like a.
You do. You could do it.
Like a curly headed fuck. As
I don't know if I'd go that far, Mike.
I would go that far about describing myself. That's what I have in my profile.
I say that we are our own worst critics.
True. That's very true. So,
well,
but, yeah, man.
Let's get to the toys. That's what people are here for. Let's stop wasting their valuable time.
So valuable, so precious. We don't want to waste anymore. Let's go to the hot toy news of the week. We love to go to our festivals. We do our toy fests, our cons, our meets and greets.
I'm a particular fan, even though I've never actually been to one, but I've always wanted to go to is a Renaissance fair.
I wasn't expecting that one.
No?
Would you dress up? Would you be
Oh,
like a
yeah, I mean, why would you
knight
not
of the square?
how can you go and not dress up? I mean, that's the whole point.
What would you go as?
I don't know, I think a monk would be very comfortable,
It would be very comfortable. It
you
would,
know?
yeah,
Although
yeah.
you don't get to carry around a sword all day, which is kinda fun.
You're also gonna be outside, so you wanna be comfy. You wanna be something
I
that's a
know.
little bit more
That's what's
airy too.
that's what's nice about the monk suit, it's just you need the rope and nothing else.
Yeah, that's it. You go
Just
freewheeling, you know?
speedballing.
Yeah, speedballing. Yeah, exactly.
The I don't know, for the future, but hey,
Into that.
you know, maybe one day.
What should I be as at a Renaissance,
A
fair?
renaissance oh, man, you could be so many wonderful things.
I think you would call me like a beer wench or something.
You're you're the you're the beer wench, Michael.
The bearded beer wench.
You're Maggie May, the beer wench. Bring us another.
Another pint for the boys. Lager for my
Oh,
knights.
I'm sure you could be like a
Yeah,
squire or something.
square. I would love like a little square, like a page
Yeah, you
here,
get like a
you
little
know?
page's hat, yeah.
Yeah, I could do
Yeah,
that, like a
look
court
fun.
jester or something. Yeah, a lot of things you can
So,
go
yeah,
with.
I don't know, maybe we'll do one, the figures not included at Renaissance Fair,
That would be great. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Dressed up, that'd be
exactly.
fun.
Or we had the underground, which I didn't really get to talk to you about it. I
Yeah.
wanted to get your perspective on, before we talk about this other fest that just happened, on the underground, the toy
Yeah,
swap.
underground, NC Underground Toy Swap, toy show we put on in Selma. It was fantastic, Michael. I gotta say, I was so happy with the turnout and with the participation. The guys at the NC Underground are fantastic, so shout out to them, all the members, everybody who participated. Really, really great people, and all the people that came out to support us from Selma. So we just had a great time. Really, really fun show, and I had a lot of great feedback. And so we're definitely going to keep it going.
Gotta
It's
keep
on
it
for
going.
next year for sure. God willing, and then we're just going to keep it going. Maybe we can even come up with a separate. Maybe have like two kind of toy shows for the year as we go
Mm,
on. And this one's really fun. So, and a lot of people are like, "Man, when can we do it again? I don't want to wait a whole year." So we'll
yeah,
see.
it's too
We'll come up
long.
with something, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, fantastic show. Yeah, I wish you could have been there, Michael. Maybe next year.
maybe next year. Don't count on it, but
I'm not counting on it, but yeah, I gotta extend the invitation though.
I appreciate it though. It means a lot. It's the thought that counts. The actual
Sure.
practice of it is not going to happen, but at least the thought is there.
Yeah, yeah, I've picked up on that, Michael.
Yeah. What I like thinking about are what's Sparrow toys. Did you say Spiro or Sparrow? I think it's Sparrow, right?
Yeah, I think it's Sparrow because isn't there a little sparrow bird as part of
Yeah,
their logo? So yeah,
exactly.
Sparrow.
Yeah, tomato tomato kind of thing, right? But still
Yeah,
delicious when you put it in your mouth.
yeah, really.
Bushido is something that we've talked about a lot. We're super
We
into
have.
these sort of Japanese culture, samurai especially.
Yeah.
You are really excited about the Bushido stuff.
I am. I mean, we saw them. We saw a lot of their prototypes about last year, almost last year at Legion's Con, remember?
Yeah,
And they were there. They had them out, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, these are so cool! I cannot wait for these to come out." And it's been a while, but man, I am still as excited as I was a year ago. So to see them bring out more stuff for the line during JoeFest was really exciting. I know a lot of companies are struggling right now with the tariffs and all that stuff to get stuff produced and costs and all that stuff. So I'm happy they're moving forward and we're gonna get to see something hopefully soon. So
yeah.
yeah, these just look fantastic. Very happy to see them.
So this is a new reveal for this for the Bushido line. This thing looks awesome. I don't know what the name is. I don't know what
Some
the
sort of
character.
Oni creature, yeah.
Yeah, this Oni creature looks awesome. And it was like, I think a lot of I'm not super familiar with Bushido. I don't know if it's like a comic book or a book or something or what it's really about, but I get
Yeah,
it.
I was under the impression it was a original IP they were creating, but I could be
think
wrong.
yeah, I believe so too. Regardless of what it is, it gives me sort of Onimusha vibes.
Yeah.
Which is one of our favorite games back in the PS days, which I'm
Oh
excited
yeah.
for the new one. So anything that sort of kind of harkens back to that and these sort of like creatures, like the Oni creatures, like you were saying,
Hmm.
is a really tasty thing to see. This thing looks beefy. It looks
Yeah.
awesome. I'm super into this style, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're doing, and I like that they're playing with the scale. They're giving us like these bigger, chunky figures, and all the detail. I mean, I'm very excited to see more of this line as it develops. But yeah, every time they present something, it just the quality looks fantastic. So, and like we've talked about some of their other figures from the Animal Kingdom line, and they're just really great toys. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this continues that, and they're just, I mean, the detail and the sculpting on these guys just looks so much fun and like so
Yeah.
badass. So I'm very excited to see this line, progress and hopefully get into our hands ASAP.
Yeah, I believe what they had a little plaque out there that said pre-orders in March 2026. So these are
Okay.
still a ways away.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a far time out, but nice to get excited about them now, see what they're working on. I'm sure they'll do
Yeah.
more tweaks and show more figures down the line, and then before you know it, it's March 2026, and we're pre-ordering to
Oh
share
yeah.
with you.
I mean,
So
time's flying, and so yeah, a lot of the times we and I mean, I'll be quick to say it too because like I don't like when people put out things and they're like, "You'll have it in 6 years," It
yeah.
just feels kind of like, oh, what a disappointment because you get this like anxiety because you really would love to have it.
Hmm.
But sometimes, and I think something like this line particularly, it's just kind of fun to see it kind of develop and grow. And they don't put out too much; they're just little bits here, a little bit there, and you kind of
Right.
just can kind of grow with the excitement. So when it is ready to come out, I think it'll just be much more sweeter and exciting. So
Oof.
yeah,
Be a sweet, sweet
so
berry.
sweet,
The
like your
sweet,
wine.
juiciest, like my sweet berry wine, straight from the teat.
Oh yeah,
Well, they have been working on for a long time is Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, which are great figures. You picked up a few at WonderCon, which is great
yep,
to see over there,
yep.
and they have announced some human figures. So these are human, pale and white. We have the animal versions of them, but now they have human. So it makes me interested in the story of Animal
Yeah.
Warriors and how this comes about.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's interesting because it's a whole anamorphic line, but you never in a lot of these anamorphic lines, you don't see them bring in humans, because it's kind of like the animorphs take the place of the human. So to bring in actual humans to this line, yeah, very intriguing, very cool idea, and I like it too because it just kind of opens up a whole other box, sandbox to play in, and
Right.
create characters and figures from. And like I said, the quality of their figures are fantastic. So I'm sure they can do some really cool warriors and other kind of human characters that could really blow us away. So it's kind of a really neat kind of turn they did with this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't think they would go human form because they've been so deep in the animal, kingdom, lack
Yeah,
of a better term. So it does make me curious to go, okay, so what's this whole story about with animal warriors? I'm more intrigued now. I love Pale and Blight; they're great figures. So to see the human forms is really cool too. I get like I'm getting like Motu vibes from it as well.
yeah,
You can kind of go back to that and it works. Like these are so, you know, like dynamically toy figures, like the colors, just the size of them, the designs, all of it. It's like really really cool. So,
yeah,
and they have this Birdie's Cardinal figure, which is the brand new one, new reveal from Spirit Toys. It looks awesome. It has this cloth outfit underneath all of its armor and the clawed feet and everything, the talons. The thing looks really awesome. It's such a cool design.
yeah. They did a great job with this. They tried some new stuff on this figure that just I think works so well. It's really neat to see. Birds are very cool because they're so distinctive. They're so interesting, and but sometimes it could be a little tricky to anamorph these guys. And so to see them do it so well, like this one, you get really excited, and you think of the possibilities of, oh man, what other great ones can they do that are just really going to blow your mind? And I
Mhm.
love to see them also improving on like the materials that they're using for the
Yep.
figures, including the cloth and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is definitely a fantastic step forward for Sparrow. So yeah, I can't wait to see more of this.
This is so cool. Yeah, it's like you said, it's sort of expanding and improving as the line goes. Like you can see, when it's one of our favorite things when we talk about things like Jada Toys or whatever, which is ad nauseum. We mentioned Jada Toys a lot because they're awesome. Blanca's super dope figure, but you see the growth, you see the re-engineering of the figures, new tooling,
Yeah,
trying new designs. You'll see that a lot, especially with Oh, if I can kind of go back to one image over here. Um, I just skipped it. But yeah, like not just with the human figures and the cardinal, but you have these behemoth figures, the brawler waves, which are coming out in this year of winter
Yeah.
2025. And so now you have sort of like mechanical features that are implemented into the characters as well. So sort of like this cyborg like lion type figure, and then you have just like standard beast size, like just like in the traditional armor. These look awesome. They
Yeah.
look really cool.
It's so cool to see him mix it up and bring in new ideas. And like you say, seeing the growth of the company is exciting. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than a company that doesn't stay stagnant. That continuously grows and evolves and just gives us better and better products. And like you can see that Sparrow is really doing that. Every iteration, every new line and figure that they come out with seems to have something nicer, better, improving upon
Mhm.
what they've done. So yeah, these just look really, really fun. I think this line is going to really blow up in the near future because they're just making some really exciting figures.
Yeah. Yeah, I love these. They look awesome. I mean, like you said, they're even doing reptile stuff too. So they have a whole reptiles line that they're working on. Reptiles Wave. Yeah, I'm really into this stuff. Again, like I said, it gives me sort of that those Motu vibes, but they're doing their own thing.
Yeah,
I mean, you've seen reptile creature, big beasts, characters,
yeah,
and all that stuff, but adding your own twist to it and doing your own designs and making just
exactly.
awesome figures.
Yeah,
So
they're not reinventing the wheel. They're just giving it their own take on it. They're giving it their own pizzazz, their own kind of just a great design and quality behind it. So they're doing some really cool things. So yeah, we've seen Animorphs and we've seen some of these things in other lines, but just the way Sparrow's handling it is just really
mhm,
exciting. So yeah, it's really good to see them continue to put out such quality and diverse
yeah.
figure lines.
Speaking of diverse, Big Bad Workshop showed off some stuff as well at Joe Fest. So they're continuing with the Monster Force stuff that they've been doing for a while.
Very
And
popular.
Eagle Force. Are they requested a lot at your store?
They are. I mean, there's not like a lot of independent toy lines. It's really the people who know, and so the general populace may not be aware of a lot of these lines, but the people that are in the community and really follow independent toy lines, this is always one of the top lines that gets mentioned, Monster
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
So very, very cool line. Exciting to see it continue and such great potential for some really cool figures, and like you can see them with these new reveals how cool some of these creatures are coming out. So
I
yeah,
mean, the Sasquatch. I don't know the name of the character, but the one with the Gatling gun is just so badass looking.
isn't it odious?
Is that no? You can't say that.
Oh, okay.
Oh man,
I
that's
just
gonna
thought
Wade
Gatling
is gonna
gun.
have a conniption hearing that. So,
No.
but no, these are cool. Like awesome designs. Again, like, and you have like a hooded sort of bad villain character there. Bad villain. Yeah, that's good English. But the Crimson Moon line over there. There's all sorts of different things that they're doing, and it's like you say, it's sort of the diversity of different character types and doing different styles and colors and then anthropomorphic or human noise or any sort of thing in between, and also doing some older retro cartoon characters, cops and crooks. It sounds familiar. I feel like I saw it in passing, but I don't have a distinct memory of cops and crooks. But hey, they're doing it and it's up
Yeah,
for pre-order
and
right
like
now on
to
Big
me,
Bad.
it feels like a Mandela effect thing. They're like, "Yeah, this was around in the '90s for sure," and like I feel
Yeah.
like, "Was it? Yeah, I think I remember it," but honestly, I can't pinpoint it down. Very interesting, very cool looking. I wish I could remember, or just maybe I completely skipped it. But interesting line, interesting choice. These are very niche IPs from back
Yeah.
in the day, and so I'm sure there's people out there who remember it. But unless if this is like an alien implant memory, because I don't
Probably is,
remember. And
yeah.
I mean, I was pretty aware of a lot of these things, and so this one, but yeah, there are always the occasional, especially more obscure ones like this that I did miss. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it past myself. But yeah, very interesting, very cool idea. I do love it when companies go out and they pull out these like really different, very what's the word? Kind of like even forgotten IPs, that come out of nowhere, and you're like, oh
Like
my
you
god,
said, niche, like very like niche kind of
yeah.
properties out there. They're not Ninja Turtle, it's not He-Man, it's not any of those Thundercats. It's very sort of digging in the weeds, obscure. Even Biker Mice from Mars is a relatively known property amongst our circles, right?
Yeah, it got out enough that most people remember it,
Yeah,
but there are a few like these that people
yeah,
just have a hard time, remembering it because 'cause I'm sure that, they were out for just a very short amount of time.
yeah. Yeah. I think we've mentioned it before, like what would be our picks, like if Big Bag Workshop came to us and said, "Hey, we want to do a line dedicated to the thing that you think is going to be great." You've always said, and I'll speak for you, crash test dummies. That's always been
Yeah.
your sort of pick to go back and do a
I
new
just love
figure.
those characters. I love the old toy line. I really think that if they do Crash Test Dummies, it's gotta be in the way kind of, that Loyal Subjects is doing Mask,
That's
where
what I was thinking.
they
Yeah.
yeah, they still you have to stay very true to that toy line. You can't really kinda change it up too much because it was so distinct in the way it looked and played that, like, modernizing a little too much might not give off the same vibes, and so it might not be as successful. But hey,
Mhm.
I could be wrong. It could be amazing. But anyway, yeah, I would love to see them do that, for sure. I just think that's such a fun line.
It absolutely is. So I would that would be awesome. I would love SWAT cats, and I don't know if 112 is just massive. Thinking about those jet fighters, I mean, I would love to get the characters at least, to kind of fit that scale, and then
Yeah, I
maybe
don't know. I feel
making a
like it could be done. I mean, like, look at McFarlane doing all these Batmobiles and vehicles in that larger scale at one, his are 7-inch figures. So,
yeah.
and obviously the cats are gonna be a little bit shorter, so they're probably not they'll be in the 6-inch scale, but they're not actually gonna be 6-inch figures.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. I feel that there's a way to do the vehicle and get away with it where
Yeah.
it's, economically feasible and,
Yeah.
people can purchase it at a better price point. So,
Yep.
who knows? Hopefully someone will get around to doing it, but it'd be really cool.
I would love to see that. I think for me, the big two would be SWAT Cats and the Mighty Ducks, the
Yeah,
cartoon
you love Mighty
Mighty Ducks.
Ducks.
I've mentioned it a bunch of times, and
Yeah,
I've talked to different people, different toy creators that have mentioned like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. So,
it would
I'm
tons
putting it out there. We're putting our feelers out there for crash test dummies, for Mighty Ducks, SWAT Cats. Let's make it happen.
and you being the big hockey fan, just congrats on your Panthers there, Michael.
We almost got those back to back.
You
The
love
rest
it,
of the
you love
hockey world can suck it. I'm gonna, gonna ride that wave, baby. It's nice to be a cocky hockey fan. Cocky hockey. That's my kind of sport,
you
baby.
love being cocky, don't you, Michael?
Well, look, after 30 years in the dumps, it's when you get your wins, you gotta really savor them. So that's
Really
what I'm
cool.
doing right now. So yeah,
Alright,
thank
good.
you. I
Good for you,
appreciate that, man.
Michael.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Right to your Carolina Hurricanes, who lost again horrifically to the Florida Panthers. But hey, they're
Well,
kind of
lucky for me, I'm not a
we
big
only
pan
won.
I'm not a big hockey fan, so I'm okay with it.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, like, who watches hockey?
I do. Me and like a couple other people. There are dozens of us.
Oh,
Dozens.
I mean, Brian, he'd probably be very upset. He loves the Hurricanes, so
Oh
yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure
he
he
messaged me. He DM'd me. He's like,
Oh,
"Man,
did he? I told you.
damn it, the one team I didn't want to play with the Florida Panthers." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, man." And then
Yeah, yeah.
they got destroyed. Um, One other thing they showed at JoeFest, amongst a bunch of cool stuff. Acid Rain. They're known for their 1/18 scale stuff. They're going into the 1/12 world, and if you don't know them, they do some really awesome figures and awesome vehicles. This sort of style, it reminds me a lot of sort of the Halo Reach look. All those
Yeah.
varied characters and the helmets and the suits. And so this is just a quick demo video of how the articulation system works. And the one thing about Acid Rains, those small figures, they're super dynamic. They're really posable, and so now putting that into 112, they look really cool.
Yeah,
You
this
like
is
you like
why
this sort of thing?
Oh yeah, I think it's really cool. And I mean, even if it's not a familiar IP or it's just an original IP and this is all kind of new stuff, I just love the creativity that goes into these things, and not only on the what do you call it, aesthetic level, but
Yeah,
also on like the engineering that goes into these things. I mean, like I feel like these are the companies that advance toys for all of us. I think than them working and trying to design something that can bend and move and do all these kind of really cool poses and stuff. I think there will be excuse me, breakthroughs in toy articulation and just general the way of building these toys to be able to achieve more of those kind of poses and cool things that we would love them to do. And so
yeah,
yeah, I'm all for it when these companies jump in and say, "Hey, let's try a 1/12 scale. Let's see what we can bring to the table and do
yeah.
something very dynamic and very cool." So yeah, I love it, and I love the boom of the independent toy company, the independent toy manufacturer, where we're getting
Mhm.
so many kind of neat independent, designs that, a lot of the big companies just would never give us just because, they're not tried and tested IPs that they know they can make money off of.
Right.
These are people who love toys, love their ideas, and want to bring us something new and exciting. And so I applaud it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm so into it. And it's, you mentioned it before, this whole sort of murky waters that we're in when it comes to tariffs and figuring out what's going to be on the other side after this 90-day fiance window ends, and getting to a place where, okay, we can feel comfortable, and it's not going to be so overly expensive. There was this real wave that was coming with independent, companies. It really happened like sort of 2023, and then 24 was a big boom, and 25 was going to be an even bigger boom. But it is cool to see, like we just showed Spiro Toys doing their thing. Operation Monster Force still coming out strong. Now Acid Rain going into the 6-inch scale stuff, and sort of again, trying to do their own thing, and also just like bringing something new and interesting and really fun, dynamic sort of figures. I think we will always say yes to that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely think there was, it was stunted as all these things kind of came into play, and the economy just went kind of crazy, and so a lot of the momentum that these companies had picked up just kind of got stagnant a little bit. But I think hopefully now that things seem to be settling down, and hopefully if the world doesn't blow up, or we'll be in a better place in a few months, a year, and we'll hopefully see them continue on their trajectory to really kind of bring something new to the toy industry. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited.
What's going in your World War III bunker? What figures are you taking with you?
Oh, that's a nice one. I'll probably, if I don't, I'll probably take most of my X-Men stuff, my Ninja Turtles. I'll probably take my big Ninja Turtles.
Okay, a bit.
My X-Men stuff. I really like those. I don't know how much space I have, so that would take up quite a lot. But
Yeah,
yeah.
depends on your bunker. I'm not sure what are the necessities, but I imagine you need a shelf for at least a couple of things.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta have at least one shelf for your, sanity. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd probably take some Ninja Turtles, some of my nicer Ninja Turtle stuff, and then probably my X-Men stuff, and I think I could survive with that. What
You
about
think
you? Yeah.
I go crazy, but I forgot that one. No, I forgot that one. No, I gotta go back out there. And I turn to a mutant, and but at least I grab
Ah!
my blonde
I
one.
just see you coming running back, and then I have to lock the door on you, and then you're like flapping at the window, "Let me in," and I'm like,
Oh
"I'm
yeah,
sorry, Michael, I'm sorry,"
hooray!
as your face starts to melt off like, the Nazis in the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. Or no, like or like what's her name? Sarah
Oh,
Connor does when she's looking through the
yeah,
fence
when she's on
in
the
the
fence, she's like,
Terminator.
"Ah!
"Ah, Michael."
Ah!" Me holding my Mafex figures
Yeah,
in
they
my
just kinda
hand.
melt in your skeletal hands.
Exactly. That's what would happen.
Wow, that's too
For
funny.
the love of the toys, baby, love of the toys.
Dark and funny, our
Dark
favorite
and
kind of
funny,
humor.
that is how I describe myself. Moving on from Joe Fest, we talk Marvel Legends. I wouldn't grab Marvel Legends though. I would never grab Marvel Legends for the post-apocalypse. So
I would grab some. I think there's some really cool ones. Yeah, I would definitely grab all my Mayfix, X-Men stuff like
there's
that,
a
but
long list before you get to Marvel Legend. No shame. It's just there's so many other companies that do some awesome
yeah.
stuff, So
Well, I was just saying, if you're gonna take the ones, you take the highest quality ones. So I'd take my X-Men stuff from Mayfix. I'd probably take my Batman Mayfix stuff too. Um,
well, look, I will say the Marvel Legend plastic is sturdy, so they might survive the
they might survive. They could be like
gas and
Twinkies.
fires and all the explosions from from the new world that we're gonna
The
be in.
new world. That'd be really funny, right? If like everything goes to shit and the new world, everybody emerges from their bunkers, but no one really cares about like gold and jewels anymore. They
No.
just cared about like pop culture antiques and like things that survived the apocalypse.
Yep.
So they're like, "Holy shit, you have a Mayfix Batman. Oh man,
That's worth its weight in
he, sh-
gold.
he should be the new king.
The new king.
Hail the king."
Hail the king.
Instead
Hail him.
Instead of pulling like the Excalibur from the Rock, it's like who pulls out like the coolest action figure from the rubble will become king.
To pull out like a little plastic lightsaber like that.
Ah,
Worship him.
he's the chosen one.
The chosen one, our new Lord. Um, well, Lord of the Leaks, Spicy Psyduck, on Twitter. I guess he had a list of the new Marvel Legends coming out next year, and it's a pretty hefty list.
Yeah, I was
Um,
excited to read through some of these ideas. And like I said, this is with a grain of salt. We never know. But hey, he's had some good predictions. So,
yeah,
you
yeah, a
know,
lot of this stuff has come to fruition. A lot of
yeah,
the Capcom stuff had that was rumored, heavily rumored. It definitely
it
came to
happened. So
be.
yeah. So it's like, hey, it's fun. It's fun to get excited, even
Yeah,
though it might not happen. It's cool to see the possibility here.
yeah.
So yeah, go for it,
So
Michael.
we're just run through a few of. I mean, there's a big list, but a lot of stuff I do like. Marvel Rivals is a super fun game,
Big,
incredibly popular.
big, how do you say it? Request. Everyone has said, "Why wasn't Hasbro ready when they launched Marvel Rivals?
Mhm.
This game needs a toy line," you
It's
know?
it's
So,
so it's
I'm
so
happy.
tailored.
Hopefully, this is true, and Hasbro got the memo, and we're gonna see some pretty awesome designs because that's
Mhm.
what's cool about Marvel Rivals. The figures, toys are toys, but the designs that they use for Marvel Rivals is what really
Yeah.
makes them shine, and
Yes.
so I'll be excited to see a figure based off of those designs.
I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the new Marvel fighting game, Tonko Fighting Souls.
I have seen it,
Um,
yes.
okay, so it's that sort of Japanese anime style that you see in Marvel Rivals as well, So they take the basic look and they kind of do their own thing. And so, I mean, these characters have really cool styles. Moon Knight, I mean, we like our Moon Knight here on Figures Not Included. That's no big surprise there. So Moon Knight would be there. Spider Man, obviously. Luna Snow, Venom, and Jeff the Land Shark. So I imagine
That's a
those
big one.
might be 2-pack figures. So Spider Man, Luna Snow, Venom, and Jeff the Land Shark. Jeff is a really fun character to play as. Cloak
Yeah,
and Dagger makes the most absolute sense, and then you also have Punisher finishing off the list for Marvel Rivals.
that's a big one too. People love their Punisher. Oh,
Mhm.
we get so many requests for Punisher figures all the time.
Yeah,
And Jeff the Land Shark has gotten so popular. The Marvel Legends made a figure of him. I believe it came with Shikla, the Vampire Queen, and people just want to buy the little figurine because it's so
yeah.
weird and cool. And I remember when it came out, I wasn't really familiar because I hadn't been reading those comics for a bit, and so I was like, "Oh, it's kind of neat, a weird four-legged shark. It's kind of funny and silly, you know."
Right.
And now with Marvel Rivals, he is like the star.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely one of the most popular. Like you said, he was part of that set with Shikla, so which was a strong guy build a figure wave. So yeah, I imagine a lot of people are just trying to find that thing by itself because
Yeah, I had him in the shelf with Shikla, and they're like, "How much is for Jeff?" And I'm like, "Oh, he comes with the figure." And he's like, "Oh, I don't really want the figure." I'm
that's
like, "Oh, sorry,
right.
man."
Yeah, yeah. So here you go. If you want to take a little quick look, here she is, and
Yeah,
she comes
but the
with old
star
Jeff,
is
the
Jeff
star
right
of the
there.
show,
Yeah.
Jeff, right there.
His debut, action figure debut right there.
That's it. We need a new one. We gotta get a new one. Let's make
You
it
go
happen.
and I believe a Marvel Rivals version would be way cooler.
Yeah, could you imagine all the cool, effects? That's a piece of, that's one of the major things. It's not just a style, but they have all these different special moves, and so including how do you include all that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Have you played
Um,
Marvel Rivals, Michael?
have it what?
Have you played it?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I haven't played it. The kids play it a lot, and I've always wanted to jump in it.
It's a free to play game too.
Yeah, yeah. It's schedule just keeps me so busy. I don't play
Yeah,
anything right
you're a
now.
busy boy. I mean, we used to do Diablo runs, and that just
I know. We had some fun. I got to get back into it. I keep saying that GTA 6 is going to bring me back to video games,
if it
but
ever comes out. So
if it ever comes out,
whatever
exactly.
comes out. But yeah, that will be a day that lives in infamy for sure. Avengers Doomsday, another day that will live in infamy when this movie ever comes out, because who the hell knows? But we know that there's a lot of different actors in this that are involved, and we have a list of some of the potential figures coming out of the MCU. Doctor Doom, you got to do Doctor Doom. He is the big one. Curious how he's going to look. A lot of AI videos out there from behind the scenes, so don't get duped. You get easily duped now. We're actually AI. This is not real. This is AI
We are
podcast.
completely AI,
Yeah, this is
so
an AI podcast running right now. It's probably our best show yet. So maybe we'll
everything's
just
scripted through ChatGPT.
yeah, we're just like sitting on the couch in our underwear writing every this is show out. So only took
We're
us
actually mole men
5 we're just mole men.
from the center of the earth,
You can catch us.
podcasting out.
It's gonna happen. It will be mole man. I can see myself being a mole man for sure. I fit the archetype. Doctor Doom, Thor, Mr. Fantastic with Herbie, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, the La Cosa. So you got another set of Fantastic Four
I
figures.
was about to say that. I'm like, we're just getting Fantastic Four. Now we're gonna get another Fantastic Four set. I mean,
Well,
hopefully they're vastly different in
probably not.
the way they look, but probably not.
Probably not. It's some sort of slight variation because from what we can tell, Fantastic Four, the first steps is, it's a precursor to Avengers Doomsday, and it's going to be a whole different thing there. So I imagine they'll have a different look, maybe a more classic, not really classic look, but maybe
Modernized.
modernized look. Yeah, they're pretty classic already. Cyclops, movie Cyclops, people love Cyclops. People wanted James Marsden to get another shot at Cyclops because he got done dirty in those X-Men movies. So
Yeah.
maybe we can actually see him power up. Gambit, I think Gambit's a great choice to do. People love all kinds of Gambits, and they've wanted the Channing Tatum's
Yeah, people
Gambit.
really like what he did with the character in Deadpool
Mhm,
Wolverine. So
mhm.
I'm sure he will be back for Doomsday and
Yep.
hopefully deliver a good performance as well.
Yes, and Captain America and Shang-Chi. So
Songochi.
that's what you have to look
Yeah,
forward
I just can't get
to.
past this whole, like, Robert Downey Jr. Doom thing, like, the
Mm,
whole I wanna watch the movie just to see what they're doing, 'cause I just can't, I cannot get any idea of how that's gonna work out, so I'm
no
just
idea. No
what
idea
were
what's
they
going on.
thinking? What is gonna make sense when the movie comes out? I need to understand it, because
Yeah.
if it's just Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom, I'm gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I'm just yeah, it's the one movie I think so far out of the MCU where I'm just like, what are they gonna do? And
I know.
in a way that isn't like,
There's
uh,
gotta be a big twist.
yeah, that's what it is, right? Because other movies I'm interested in, or I do have that question like how they're gonna do this or what they're gonna do, but more of like I'm curious, I'm interested. This is more of like I'm scared or I'm worried of how they're gonna do this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sort of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, just 'cause it doesn't make sense, at face value, so
Yeah,
I'm just eagerly wanting to know the answers to what's
yeah.
going on there.
Well, they've announced the director for the next X-Men, the new live action X-Men. So they're moving. The train is pulling away from the station. They're going forward,
I know,
and
it's
Doomsday has
cool,
to
but
work.
it's kinda hard to get excited as they've been teasing X-Men for years and years and years, and I'm like, "Can we get there already, please?"
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like we're gonna get there, and Doomsday will be the setup to that. So, but Fantastic Four is coming out. I'm excited for Fantastic Four. I think it's going to be good. But
Yeah, yeah, hopefully it's a
we'll see what
decent
happens.
movie, it continues on the trend. I was disappointed that Thunderbolts, did as poorly as it did in the
Yeah,
box office.
I liked it. I like
It was a good
Thunderbolt.
movie, it was a good movie, it was definitely a much better, scripted movie, it cared more about the story than, the explosions and, blockbusterish kinda thing, so I really
Mhm.
like that they put that first, but it didn't deliver the numbers. So
Yeah,
hopefully that's
gotta
not a
deliver numbers.
deterrent to continue to deliver a good story first, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get a good um, Fantastic Four movie as well, and we'll continue seeing improvements through Marvel. But only time will tell.
Only time will tell. They're not gonna be at Comic-Con this year, so they are
Oh, they've
it's surprising.
opted out.
Like, "We out. We don't care about you guys anymore."
And my
You know, you guys
curiosity is like, are they just saving everything for the D what is it, D23 or whatever the
Big
Disney
D?
Expo is?
Yeah. I
Because
imagine so.
my assumption is that just that's Disney's control. They like to have everything under their own roof, so maybe that's why, they're not really wanting to put out stuff, or maybe they just don't have a lot in development
I
or
th I
ready
th
to
think
reveal.
I think it's a mix of they're really putting all their effort into this movie film,
Mhm.
and,
It's a picture show.
the old picture show, the old silver screen. So, the old moving picture.
Talkie.
Talkie. They're putting a lot of effort into this talkie, and they probably don't have a lot to show because they're in deep production and they're probably
Yeah, yeah.
a lot
I
of
think they
different
don't wanna spoil
different
anything.
teams.
I
Yeah,
think they wanna keep a lot of things under wrap,
yeah, yeah. So,
but
it's Maximum series is hey, it's still alive apparently. Thor, which is one that I think we've all sort of speculated would be the next Maximum series
yeah,
figure,
it feels
and
like
that's
they're hitting all the heavy hitters first, they're going to the
yeah,
popular characters, which makes sense.
it makes sense. That's the one to do, and Black Suit Spider Man, which I think is one that
I mean,
great.
that's a given. Hey,
Yeah,
repaint it.
pre-paint it, just make all the other stuff black and white, and call it a day.
Yeah.
So, Magic the Gathering. I've never played Magic. People swear that it's an awesome game to play. I have a lot of friends that play it.
Really
Uh,
popular, Michael.
Right? I know, I know. It was popular back in the day when I was living in Miami. Still, my when I was a strapping young lad. So it just has only exploded since then.
Well, specifically now, they just released the Final Fantasy Magic,
Yeah,
version, and
yeah,
a lot of people that have either never played Magic or, have but kinda stepped away from it a while ago are back, and,
exactly.
there seems to be a lot of interest in it right now, and Final Fantasy, I think, is the catalyst for that because it's such a cool IP, and it lends itself well to the game, and people are just excited, and also, I think a lot of people are just hunting that, extremely expensive I was gonna say Pokemon,
Well,
Chocobo.
yeah. Oh, Chocobo. Okay,
Yeah, it's like a $40,000 Chocobo card if you get it.
I gotta keep my eye out for stuff like that.
Yeah, you ever see a collector pack, grab it, maybe get that Chocobo.
Well, they have Marvel ones and they have Street Fighter ones too. They have a whole different one, Final Fantasy, like you just said. So for Marvel, they're gonna do Doom 2099, Invisible Woman, Black Panther, Captain America. It does say Gamerverse, so I imagine these are fully 6-inch figures and not smaller versions or Titan series or these are like actual legit Marvel Legends figures. So curious how they'll do that.
Yeah, it's fun that they use Gamerverse and not just video games, but like Magic, TCG games.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder why, because I'm looking at, something like Black Panther, for example. I'll just bring this up here. There's nothing, I mean, it has a very realistic look to it,
Mhm.
but there's nothing out of, from what I can see, that makes it feel vastly different than a standard Black Panther, you know?
I mean, I think it's just people like to play with these familiar characters and see what kind of like special rules the company comes up with to play them.
Well, I wonder if maybe these figures include the magic cards.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the cards. Yes, the figures based off of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, the figures are based off these cards, right? So then, what's the specialty? Like with the Gamerverse and
Oh, yes,
Capcom
yes.
characters,
What
like
will
there's a
distinguish
different.
this version, the
Yeah, they're
Magic
like
version?
they're like different color. They bring different effects. There's some some subtle difference, some big differences. Like the Wolverine looks very much like the video game style. The Captain America looks like a standard Captain America, but just
Yeah.
a different shade of blue. Same thing
It's a
with
very
Venom
good
head.
question. Yeah.
So
I am at I'm curious to see what will distinguish the Magic versions. It's funny, they'll just give us, like, the same ones and just put them in a Magic the
Yeah,
Gathering box packaging,
I
but it's
think
just like
that's what I'm thinking. I think it'll be the Magic the Gathering box and bring a card, and then that's your intro, which I think is also I think that's a good cross synergy sort of marketing thing
yeah, it works for sure.
is capitalizing on what's super popular right now, and how do we, you know, put that into the figures, and you just throw a card in there, and then you're done. So
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the figure turns out. That I think that'll make this line, more interesting if the figures are actually something special.
yeah,
But I think if they're just like, repackaged or very similar to things we've already seen, it might not do as well to bring people into the card
we'll see.
game.
Well, they're doing popular characters: Captain America, Black Panther, Invisible Woman. I think once the movie comes out, she'll be, her popularity will rise, and Doctor Doom is always,
Yeah, he's big.
popular. Yeah, he's big. Avengers: The Crossing, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. This is one that stumped us, and this is a '90s Avengers storyline. And so you can take a little look here. You have let's Hawkeye. I like that Hawkeye. I like a '90s Hawkeye. But you have
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch style, and you have Vision to her right.
Yeah, my
The
my assumption on this is that they came off of doing the Age of Apocalypse. We got 2 waves of Age of Apocalypse, a very popular line from the '90s, and I think they just were looking for, storylines with very distinctive versions and costumes of these characters,
Mhm.
and I guess they settled on Avengers Crossing, a storyline that I do not remember. I mean, maybe I just missed it or wasn't really into Avengers at this time, so I don't
Yeah,
remember it.
yeah.
Maybe this series was well received, but yeah, I was a little like, "Huh, that's very it seems very obscure to me."
Yeah.
But seeing this picture, you can see you can make a lot of the same characters in kind of different styles, so I see why it could be appealing to the toy companies.
Well, yes, and also to the '90s crowd, which is who they cater to a lot. But it's just so ripped '90s, of massive muscles and all the pouches and big hair. So the sharp lines. This is very much in that '90s world. So Scarlet Witch, Vision, classic combo. Can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I sort of don't have any real connection or memory to the
Yeah.
Crossing storyline, but that's cool. It's cool. We'll move on. We'll move on. We got a couple other things here as well. We have a Walmart exclusive Punisher. Don't know what that could be. I'm hoping Walmart does, when they do exclusive, they do either game reverse or animated. So I'm thinking there might be an animated Punisher.
That
That's
could be
sort of
cool.
what I'm going for, which I would love to
Yeah.
get.
I mean, they did the animated, Venom last time,
Yeah,
where they took out the cell shading.
yeah,
So it would be
exactly.
cool to see like a retro animated style Spider-Man, whatever.
That's what I'm thinking. I think that's kind of where they go with that one.
Yeah.
War Machine Punisher. It's a cool look for that one. Daredevil Born Again. We already know we're getting Daredevil. Maybe this is the yellow version or the black costume version of Daredevil, or it's the same one. And then a 2-pack of Bullseye and Muse. I think that's a really good idea for a 2-pack. Just give me two, villains like that. I think people are always down for that. Deadpool and Wolverine. Elektra. The Cavalrine. I This is where we kind of go to, like, I don't know if they're gonna do a Cavalrine, because then you have to get his likeness and all this stuff, and how does that
It
work?
would be funny, and I could see the interest in maybe making a figure, but it was such a kind of like a strange little, kinda like inside joke
Yeah,
cameo that
yeah.
to make a toy of it just it doesn't really make sense, but,
No, it
who
doesn't.
knows? I mean, people like the idea, so maybe Hasbro just wants to capitalize on it.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of different characters you can do for that movie. In my mind, I mean, you could just do a Wolverine 4 or 5-pack and do all the different cameo versions of Wolverine. I would love that Age of
Yeah.
Apocalypse version of Hugh Jackman. Hot Toys is doing a version,
I
so
was
why
gonna
not?
say, man, I don't know
Yeah.
about that Hot Toys version though. That head sculpt is crazy. It's
It
like
looks insane, but
it's so bad it's good, you know?
yeah,
It's like
exactly,
it just looks so
exactly.
crazy.
Exactly, but imagine, like, you get that one, you get your Patches movie version, you get your really small Wolverine too, you know?
Oh, yeah. I
I
mean,
I think those are like, that would be a fun pack to get. I think people would
yeah,
enjoy
that would
that.
definitely see something like a San Diego Comic-Con pack or
Yeah,
something like a
exactly.
New York Comic-Con pack, because I think people would be excited to get something like that just because it's fun, it's kinda gimmicky, it's
Yep.
interesting and silly, but cool. People
Yeah,
love Wolverine.
yeah.
So yeah, who knows?
I'd be into that one. And Sabretooth listed as wolf. I don't know if there's any other character that has a wolf like nature to it or something. But I think Sabretooth is
Not from the
probably,
movie, yeah.
yeah. X-Men 97, some rehashes here. We've already seen some of these figures go up again for reissue, like Wolverine and Rogue, Jean
Mhm.
Grey, Cyclops. I don't know if they're gonna do what other versions they would do of those. I guess maybe they would do the, at the end of the season where
Yeah,
they
when she puts on the Miss Marvel, he puts on his
yeah,
classic, with
yeah,
the cap,
yeah.
and Wolverine in the brown suit. Yeah, they all change their suits up at the end, and so I could definitely see them
Does Rogue do
doing
that
those
too?
versions.
Which is Rogue?
No, Rogue did
Rogue's
not do that, but
no.
Rogue what does she wear? Remember in the final scene, she's wearing, like, a red dress or something? I don't know, maybe
Maybe
they do
maybe
that.
that would be the one they would do, yeah. Either the reissues or they're that version, which is sort of like the X-Force or the Pride version. But yeah,
Mhm.
I would say that. North Star, Havoc, um, okay. There's a lot of other characters that would go before that, but, again, these are all sort of leaked, rumored,
Yeah,
speculated
none
sort
of
of
this
things.
has to be,
Yeah.
taken too seriously.
Yeah, take it with a grain. This is the tiniest grain of salt from Himalayan sea salt, so Wolverine, latest comic suit, and you have a list of other characters: Ghost Rider, Hawkeye, Marina, Iron Man Mark III, Sentinel pack, which is interesting. A lot of people speculating maybe this is the Gamerverse Sentinel.
Yeah, kinda
So
redone.
yeah, I think that would be super awesome. American Secret Bath, no idea what that is. Shapeshifter. Someone said maybe Super Scroll. I say why not
Morph.
Mystique? Morph would be great too. I would love a movie Mystique. I think that'd be fun, but Morph would be awesome. Lady Deadpool, Psylocke, Wolverine Pool, and U.S. Agent. So that's a big list for
Yeah.
2026, and we're gonna get a good idea of what to expect in a month when San Diego comes around. So
Yeah. So we'll be definitely keeping our ears to the ground.
yeah, 50th anniversary of one of the greatest movies of all time, Jaws. Uh,
Dun, 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 dun.
Whoa, what was
Dee-dee-dee.
that? Look at that! Look at that little thing.
Jaws, one of
Um,
the best movies. Such a great, exciting thriller of a movie. I loved watching it as a kid. It would creep me out, but it was so much fun. And I love the shark, the idea of just man-eating monstrous shark floating around out there,
you
and
love the idea. It's a
the
scary.
men that
I don't
battled
love that
it.
at all. It's
No, no,
awful
no, for a movie, and
for a
it's a
movie.
great idea for, a thriller, scary kinda movie
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So it's just it makes for an exciting movie, and so I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really fun. So
You
I'm happy. I can't believe it's 50 years. That's crazy.
It's been the 50th anniversary, and to celebrate that, have different companies. You have McFarlane doing their own thing with this movie Maniacs 6-inch Jaws with the little lady swimming. That's a great one. I think that's a really good idea for a
Yeah,
movie
very
like that.
poster-esque. I
Very
like it.
poster-esque. That's a great display piece right there, and that's what Jaws should be. We can't forget about, NECA doing their game of Jaws where you have all the little accessories. It kind of works like
Very fun one.
Operation in that way, which is a really fun one. We saw that one at Toy Fair, and it was super cool to see that one up close and personal. Um, this one, though, this is your favorite. This is one that you told me about. This is the Mondo designer figure Jaws, which
Yeah.
just looks insane.
It looks great. I got my eye on this one just because it's such a cool piece. It's big and it's got a little bit of stylization to it. Make it just looks very, kind of over the top, kind of gory. You get that little bit of the horrorish kind of element from the movie, and just kind of like this death machine coming for you. And just really cool, man. If you like Jaws, and it's exciting like it is for me. This piece would just like, man, it would be like, oh yeah, that's a man eating shark right there. I want to see that sitting on my desk and not floating around me in the ocean.
It's super super great detail on this one.
I love
Like
that
the
stuff. Yeah,
portrait. I mean, all the head and the severed arm in there, the life jacket. This one's pricey though. It's 275, but you see all the detail that goes into it. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, there it's good. I think, Mondo does a really good job on these. The quality, that they put out a lot of these, I think it's gonna be a really fun piece. We have which was the last one? They did the Demigorgon not too long ago, which was really
Mhm.
fun. And this one just seems to be like a follow-up to that one, and it's just a really cool pop culture piece. If you're a fan of the movie, if you're a fan of, vinyl collectibles, this thing I think would look fantastic. So I'm definitely eyeing this for myself, but yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's great, and Jaws is a great movie. My fear, not so much the movie, was the ride. Universal
Oh,
Studios
yes,
ride.
right, that was fun.
I think that is I think from that, I developed a fear of
Women?
well, not swimming, but
No,
of
women.
oh, women, yeah, definitely women. Oh, 100%. I will never I will always be scared of, "Ooh, women."
Oh, no.
No! I'd rather just jump into Jaws' mouth and deal with a woman. But no, my thing is, and there's an actual, it's like has a name like aquatophobia or something, like the fear of mechanical, like machines underwater.
That's
Like,
funny.
yeah, so like
Yeah, it
Jaws
was
is
pretty neat. I mean, as a kid, I think it was definitely much more traumatizing, and I believe, not too long ago, someone put out, like, a video of it, and it just seems very non-threatening and not that exciting anymore. I think it's just because 'cause we've gotten so kinda desensitized and things are much more intense nowadays,
mhm.
that the ride just didn't seem as scary as I remembered it.
Yeah.
But, it's just like, and the like, kind of the robot shark head would just kinda move towards you real slow, and so, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it worked, but in the video, it looked really funny, and it looked very kinda, um,
It is
subdued.
goofy. I totally recognize its goofiness, but yeah, there's something about it just like,
Yeah, but if you're a little kid, I mean, you were a lot younger than I was when that
no,
ride was
I'm
out.
30. I'm almost 40. I'm still scared. I still have
Exactly,
fear
I
of
know.
this monstrosity. Submechanophobia is what it's called. What I have.
There it is. Yeah.
I am what they say, a puss. So that's okay. I'll live with it. One
Like
thing you're not scared of, and you mentioned this, and I just want to share it really quick. This Kingdom Come Superman. Uh,
oh,
you were just like oozing from the bits talking about this guy.
yeah, it's just such a cool idea. I'm talking about variants of figures and stuff like that. If you read Kingdom Come and you remember the scene, with Superman, everything's destroyed and he's just smoldering. And the way that Alex Ross portrayed it with the all red, color scheme and stuff, it was just such a impactful, very cool a visual from the comic, and to see it as a figure, it was just super exciting. This figures, I think it'll be really just kind of a fun piece just for someone who really enjoys that storyline and or is a Superman fan. This thing is just really cool looking. I think it's when you think about, how do we take a figure and do something, a color deco that really makes it different and pop? I think this
Mhm.
was a great idea. So yeah, I was very excited about this one.
No real release date in terms of, pre-orders or if it's going to be online at a certain point. It's overseas. It's available overseas, whatever that means. But in terms of having a US release, we don't know. And
Yeah,
McFarlane worked in
I
mysterious
mean,
way.
I'm sure it's coming. I'm gonna keep my, like I say, ear to the ground and try to make sure I grab one of these when it does come out because, for me, it's just a really cool piece. So I would love to get this one for myself.
Yeah, it's
Very
cool.
exciting.
It's cool. Not a McFarlane guy. I've said that once, said 1,000 times here when it comes to DC stuff. But I respect those that are still duped by him. Uh, but no, it's cool. It is a cool design, and I do like my Kingdom Come stuff. And I love to see. I mean, there's so many different companies now doing DC stuff. If you look at InArt, they're doing Dark Knight. LPZZ is doing the Arkham video game style Batman. Kingdom Come definitely is due to get some cool stuff, and maybe Mattel next year will do some Kingdom Come figures as well. So,
Yeah, Kingdom Come was really, really a great line and very interesting designs that they did in that one. They're all older versions of them themselves.
mhm.
So, I know DC directed some, but it'd be cool to get something that I don't know does a little bit better job of capturing that style. I know it's
Yeah,
kind of hard because Alex Ross style is very unique and very kind of lifelike, but I don't know. It'd be cool to see.
I mean, I imagine, and McFarlane is able to do. I feel like he captures the comic style or the art, the comic art, really when it comes to the figure. More so in the statues, I really see it. You see it with the
Yeah,
Marvel
yeah,
stuff,
he's
you know.
capable of that. It's a little bit hit or miss sometimes on the action figures, but yeah, I mean, even if he did some sort of staction line for Kingdom Come, or if any
Hmm.
company would do it, where I mean, it was more, and I don't know, I just feel like the way these characters are and portrayed, I wouldn't mind a statue. I know a lot of people love their action figures and want to pose them, but I think they would work really well as statues, and I don't know, maybe someone will do it. Maybe we'll tackle it
Well,
next year.
I
Maybe
know a place.
McFarlane won't lose the statue license and they can do it.
Maybe, yeah. I think that's kind of like that could be it because he's doing Mortal Kombat, Ninja Turtles, all sorts of other stuff. So maybe he'll just do the statues for DC. But if you
Yeah.
want to pick up some DC figures, I know a good place you can go to:
Tell us.
Hidden Temple Toys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What do you got this week coming to Hidden Temple Toys?
Oh, we got lots of stuff, we got things coming in all the time. I don't actually know anything specifically coming this week specifically, but there's just a lot of fun toys all the time.
Yeah.
Specifically, there's a lot of fun stuff coming through there each and every day. We not only get new stuff, but we get a lot of trades and stuff like
Mhm.
that. We get a lot of vintage things coming through. So,
Yeah.
stop by, check us out, check us online, hiddentempletoys.com.
Go by, say hello, give an old pat to the back of Ed when you see him. Tell him Mikey sent you.
Hearty
Give
handshake.
a hearty handshake.
Love to
And
say hi to you guys.
yeah, please do. Whoa, that was
What the
very
hell was that?
loud. I think that means we have a segment where we talk about vintage toys. You had something there, so makes
I
sense.
did?
Yeah, for the yellow wing.
Oh, my jaws?
We were talking about Jaws, so you had something there you wanted to show off.
Yeah, I showed this off the last. So we didn't really have a lot to show off this week, and I was thinking what would be relevant. And like the 50th anniversary of Jaws was really cool. I kind of flashed this guy a little earlier. This was a really fun one. It actually took me a little bit to find this one because I really wanted to get this little Funko Pop of Jaws. I really like Funkos just because they encompass so many, how do you say it, different IPs and just really neat obscure ones and all, big popular ones. So you can just really get a lot of neat stuff. And this was a fun one because I've always liked Jaws and I thought this would be a really fun one to get because I love Jaws and this was like an easy, fun one to display and hold on to. So look at that. There's a few different versions out there for this, and I think this one was really cool. You know,
Was it Jaws?
dan it,
Another
dan it, dan it, dan it. So
good one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I got that was kind of relevant right now.
Yeah.
What about you,
No.
Michael? What?
Empty.
So you're
Nada.
telling me people came to this toy podcast to see and talk toys, and you got no toys?
Listen,
Damn.
we're called figures not included. Includes myself sometimes. So I'm just on brand right now.
I guess that's true. I guess
It's,
that is true.
and I'm so sweaty. This
You're
is the
not
thing.
wrong. Why are you
I'm
sweating so?
I'm so
You washing cups?
it's like 95 degrees outside. I had my AC off trying to record this show, so it doesn't sound like I have a lawnmower in the background. And I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
gonna be a hot one. I saw the newscast. We're gonna be like in the triple digits next week or this coming week. Yeah, so
it's tough. So
yeah,
cool your toys. Make
You
sure
get that
your
AC
toys are
pumping, Michael.
make sure your toys are well conditioned, well air conditioned spaces because you don't want them to.
Oh yeah, I had a customer come in the other day and was talking about how he's had his in like a shed for a while, and it's now he's been collecting for maybe like 2 3 years, and he's really starting to see some deterioration. So he was pretty happy about it.
Mm.
So he's like, I got to figure out what to do with this stuff before it completely disintegrates.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, if you got some climate control areas for your toys, they're gonna last a lot longer. So just keep that in mind as the weather gets hotter and hotter.
yeah. I feel like liquid right now. I'm
You
so
look it.
I look terrible right now. I look like I'm in
You
a
look like you're
hostage video
melting.
or something. So I look, oh, yeah.
You look like a bucket of Jello.
Okay, all right, I get it. I look terrible. I'm figuring out different ways to say how bad I look.
No, no. I'm
But
concerned
anyway,
about your health.
all right. I appreciate you concerned about my health. I um was so happy to do this with you. Do another
You
episode.
know, it was good. It was fun. We had a few things to cover there. It was good to get back in the saddle,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
ride this horse,
Ride that thick
ride
horse.
the hell out of this horse for a little bit. That was really exciting. So
We rode it to high noon. So we'll get back on that saddle next week as we're doing figures not included.
yeah, yeah, we'll have more exciting, fun toy stuff. Hopefully, more toys to show off.
Yep.
And if Mikey gets his act together,
I'll try. No promises, but
good.
I mean, I'm old reliable.
We'll let you go get that AC blowing again before you guys die of heat stroke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I better do that right now. Please like, subscribe, comment on the
Hit it.
on the
Hit
show.
it.
We appreciate it. Yep, to do that thing, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Next episode, Michael.
Next
Oh,
episode.
well, I guess it doesn't really fit right now.
I mean,
Figures
fits.
not included.
Oh, we can't take them. You can't take them either.
It's mine. It's mine.
Not yours.
Not